map. And Vice President J.D. Vance is trying to spur a similar effort in Indiana, although the Republican leadership there appears unconvinced. Then there's the president himself, now proposing an unprecedented overhaul of the U.S. Census. Matthew Dowd is back with me, and we're joined here in studio by Julie Roginski, Democratic strategist and author of the Salty Politics newsletter. Are we just going to keep seeing this escalating, Julie, more and more states getting involved in this fight? Because now, we were reporting this last hour, what the governor in Texas has said is, I'll call special session after special session after special session. We're going to get this done.
They are going to get it done. I mean, he's right about that. He's going to have the ability to get it done. And I appreciate that the Texas legislators are bringing massive national attention to this. But in the end, Texas is going to be redistricted in mid-cycle, which is unprecedented and really a subversion of our electoral process. But that's what Trump wants. And, now he wants to change the census. From the beginning, people who understood how Donald Trump thinks understood that he's not going to stop just with what he was talking about with elections being quote unquote stolen, that he was going to do whatever it took to create a permanent MAGA majority. And one way to do that is to disenfranchise people and not count them in the census.
So Florida, are you expecting Florida?
Of course, Florida, Ron DeSantis is going to go next. Every state that has the ability to do this on the Republican side will do this. And what I would expect from my Democratic friends is to stop fighting with one arm tied behind their back, understand that all the idealism that we talked about with respect to nonpartisan redistricting has to be thrown out the window, because this is truly for the fight and the soul of our democracy. And if we don't play in kind, we will never, ever be in the majority again. And then we can say goodbye to our democracy, because look who's going to be in charge for the rest of his natural-born life.
Well, there may be one dissenting voice, Matthew. After his meeting with Vance, Indiana's governor, Mike Braun, told local reporters, I listened, but he made no commitments. What do you make of that versus, say, Ron DeSantis?
Well, I think part of it I don't think it's idealism on Mike Braun's part, Governor Braun's part. They have 9 seats in Indiana, 7 of which are already Republican. So Indiana votes around 40 or 45% for Democrats normally. They only have 2 congressional seats today, and Republicans have 7. So their Republicans are way out proportioned already. And it's very hard to see a map that gives them, I guess, 1 more seat if possible. And even that, I think it's tough to do. So I think Governor Braun's thought is that this just is not going to work in Indiana. But in a place like Florida and a place like Texas, Florida has 28 seats. Texas has 38 seats in this. And so it's much easier to design this in a way. And I just want to say I agree totally with Julie. This sort of brinksmanship that is going on over and over and over is so detrimental to our democracy. I mean, I wish all states could be like Michigan, where we have an independent redistricting board and they draw a bunch of swing seats and then the general elections matter. The problem is that we don't have states that are willing to do that and willing to abide by that in the course of this. And so the only solution to this is either all these states, including Republicans, stand down, which I don't see any Republicans doing. Democrats have to step up if the Republicans aren't standing down. We need a national redistricting policy in this that applies in the same way to every single state, that is independent, that is citizen-led, that doesn't matter if you live in Texas or Florida or Ohio or California or New York, that the way the lines are drawn are the same. That's the only way this works.
Well, I have to say, Democrats tried that, and Republicans wouldn't vote for that legislation. I mean, Democrats tried to put a nonpartisan redistricting program, the kind that Matthew's talking about, in place, and Republicans voted it down. And when they did, Democrats should have realized what was coming.
So let's play what Hakeem Jeffries, obviously the Democratic House leader, had to say about all of this.
The redistricting arms race has already begun. Under these circumstances, one cannot unilaterally disarm. The Republicans are counting on that as part of their scheme, trying to steal the midterm elections and gerrymander these congressional maps with impunity across the country. We're not going to stand for it.
Is there any doubt in your mind, given what you said, which is what everybody who's been on this show believes, that that's going to happen in Texas, that a New York or a California or both aren't far behind?
Well, I hope so, because I'll say this to my Democratic friends. When they go low, we don't go high. When they go low, we get out the excavator and we bury them. And that's what needs to happen. And this idealism needs to be put aside. theoretically agree 100%. I've worked on redistricting for 30 years. I agree that we should have a nonpartisan redistricting commission. However, that's not what's happening. And if somebody is in a nuclear arms race, you don't say, oh, by the way, I'm going to suddenly denuclearize. You outmaneuver them and you do what you can. And the reality is that a lot of these states that are Democratic, that have nonpartisan commissions, are also huge states like California, like New York, and so on. New Jersey, which has the opportunity to do this, they have the majorities in the legislature to put a constitutional amendment on the ballot this year. New Jersey, get it done. You can get one more congressional seat out of New Jersey if you play your cards right. You can get several out of New York. You can certainly get 5 more at least in California. We have the population states. A lot of our states are populous enough where we can compete. We just have to have the will to do this, and we have to put aside these little birds that are whispering in our ears saying, well, this is just not how it's done. This is not right. This isn't proper. We are in the fight of our lives for the soul of our democracy. The other side is playing dirty. We need to out-dirty them.
Well, to speak about how it normally is done, and I don't need to tell either of you this, but every 10 years there's a census. And every 10 years we take a look at congressional districts and they get redrawn, and there's gerrymandering, as we know. But it gets done every 10 years, except then maybe in 5 years, somebody decides, as they're doing in Texas right now, oh, we could do it a little differently. We could do better in the House. So now, Matthew, Donald Trump is saying, you know what, let's just blow up the whole census process as we know it, especially when it comes to counting undocumented immigrants. What about that?
That is incredibly, incredibly destructive, because the next step, and Julie, I know, knows this, as she's alluded to, they will try to provide a new census in the midst of this and say they're going to throw out a bunch of numbers, which will probably, a bunch of populations, which will probably dramatically affect blue states, which will lessen their congressional representation in this. And then Donald Trump, once that is done, it says every state needs to redistrict now based upon these new numbers that we have in the census. It's all completely based. It's not at all considered about what's good for our democracy, what's good for how do we represent people. Are people fully represented in state by state by state by state? They don't care about that. It's all about whatever way they can game the system. And this is another example. Cause a new census to be done in the midst of a 10-year cycle, and then decide that you're not going to count certain people, and then reward Republican states and subtract from Democratic states. And so I could see them saying, we'll do this, and then we'll do another census, we'll do another redistricting in 2028.
Matthew Dowd, Julie Roginski. I'd love to think this is the last word, but we all know it isn't, but I appreciate your time. Up next, could there be a new way